it's with it's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker. I'm just really sad that he's coming after lunch because I already ate all the dessert and I read about the fitness. I'm like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. But this is Craig Capurso, a gentleman who has, if you have your manual book out, you take a look at his bio, but I'm really excited to hear about your story, Craig. So please come on up here, get ready to share. Everybody welcome Craig.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Do that there. All right, guys. So we're gonna do a little bit of this, and it's gonna almost feel like I'm a little bipolar today because we're gonna come off with a nice little softie. I'm gonna throw it to you a little bit in a couple different ways. But I have a question for everybody. Who here has been to the gym in the last 30 days? Hands. All right. Okay. How about in the last 7 days? Almost the same crowd. Since you've been at Summit? Or less. How many people have been to the bar? More hands. I just want to know what I'm working with here, right? So I got a question about health, right? Because this is a health and wellness. I represent the ecosystem. Christine had asked me to come in today representing the health and wellness space and what that means to the ecosystem between the mortgage. And I want to tell a couple stories, but I have a couple questions around health that we're going to kind of get into. So if you agree with me, let me know. Give me some sound today, and I want to hear some participation as we kind of get into this thing. So if you have health, do you have wealth? Yes? Okay, all right. Would you then conclude if you have wealth that you have health? All right, we're on the same page. Because I can absolutely tell you if you chase wealth that you're going to destroy your health. And that's something we're going to get into today. So about 5 years ago, if I were on a stage like this, the chances and likelihood that it would be just about naked would be about 100%. If you haven't read my bio, I'm going to fill you in a moment. But essentially, I would be a competitor. I competed in the IFBB, and we're going to kind of get into that story. But essentially, I was competing for the best bodies in the world. And it was something that, in that place of me going after something, I lost something. And that's going to be the story, which I feel like you guys are in a pivotal place right now in the economy and with everything that's going on. You guys heard from so many different speakers about, what's going on. How many people was in the mortgage industry in 2007, 2008 when the last one was there? About half, okay. I was a mortgage LO, and we're gonna kind of jump into that story here in just a second, but I kind of wanna just say, it's one thing to, chase fitness and health. And most people will see me up here and they'll say, you're just chasing body composition, and you're gonna have a conversation like that. But I think there's so much more of a story that goes into health. Well, let's start off with wealth, health, and happiness, because I believe they all make up our ecosystem in the way I see it. Because if you chase one and don't have others, you're gonna be very lacking. Even though we can chase health and have wealth at the end of the day because we have our bodies, we're here, we're gonna be able to live another day and receive the goods, the fruits of our labor. If you chase wealth alone, it's gonna be a very empty cause for you. If you chase, just happiness, you may not have wealth and you may not have these other things as well. So there's a fine line between what we're gonna be doing. But let me kind of get into this story because I struggled with chasing wealth, health, and happiness when they were all together. And there's gonna be a good arc to this, but where's my clicker? Here it is. Can I do anything? No? I guess I'll advance my slides. You guys can do it for me, thank you. All right, so what would you do for $1? The dollar, thank you. The dollar, big one, big dollars. That's good, I like that. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what I did for $1, the dollars, not $1. I was an LO about 16 years ago. I actually did work for Christine at H&R Block. I was in the Hartford, Connecticut, or the Connecticut office. And, so I was one of you guys. I experienced the loan business. I was a subprime lender before that with Aegis Lending. And that's kind of where the story starts because I did something that I bet you, a lot of you wouldn't. But I mean, you've done other things. This is just a really odd story. So I worked for Aegis, a subprime lender. I had a manager, and so I'm going to ask you for your feedback here. I had a manager who was really on my neck and really on like everybody, like somebody who's like a hardcore manager. Is there any hardcore managers in the house? Don't be afraid. That's kind of a good thing if you guys are all like high performers here, right? But a manager who was really pushing. It was my first year in the mortgage business, and I had a good month going. And I had this one loan in Hartford, Connecticut, and the guy, all the paperwork looked good. We were at the point where we got an appraisal out to the house, and the appraiser calls me back, and he says, "Hey, Craig, we can't do this house." I'm like, "What do you mean you can't do this house? I got this manager. I'm a go-getter anyway. I come out of college. There's some story there, but we don't have time for it today." And he goes, "There's stuff from the bottom of the floor to the ceiling in just about every single room of this house. We can't get this appraiser done. I have no clue what's behind these walls. I can't give you fair value for this house." And so I felt like, okay, I'm gonna hear it from Pat, my manager, big guy. He's like 6'5". He came from UConn. He was a lineman, so he's a big guy. And so I was like, all right, I gotta solve this. I gotta figure this out. What do you think are 3 options? The first option, you're gonna guess the third. But there's one option, right? I can call the borrower and I can tell him, "Hey, you got a bunch of stuff in your house. I didn't know anything about that. You got to solve that. You got to figure a way to detach yourself from your emotions of this stuff because you're obviously a hoarder, right? We could all agree this guy's got some emotional attachment to his things, so we can't, just pass over it. So, hey, borrower, can you do me a favor? Go get that crap out of the house so we can get that appraiser in there just because we're going to refinance you or whatever we were doing at the time." Do you think that worked? No. Okay. Number 2, we can just let it go, move on, go to the next one. And that might be what a lot of you have done, not yet, that way. That might be what you guys have done in the last little bit. I talked to Corey. Corey and I go way back. Actually, he was a high school buddy of mine, so if you guys know Corey, that's where I kind of came up. We did H&R Block together. But I asked him kind of like, what was the way it was in the last couple of years? And he said, "Man, I was calling, and I'd be on the phone closing a deal, and the phone would be ringing. And I'd have anxiety because I'm missing deals." Does that sound similar sort of like to the marketplace the last few years? Is it that busy? We didn't have that back then. We had winter, which is something that you guys might see here in a little bit. And I think I have a little bit more confidence in the market after listening to our speakers today. So thank you guys for, I think, instilling confidence in us all that the market's not doomed. But you have to be prepared for that. So I talked about option 1, which was tell the borrower to fix it. Option 2 would have been saying, "Hey, I'm gonna just move on," and that might be a good thing in today's market because why bother with it? Just move on and get the next one. And then there's option 3. Does anyone throw me an option 3. What would be option 3? Huh? Empty the house. Yeah, you got it. Well, this crazy guy on stage here went to the house and I said, "Hey guy, clear your schedule for the weekend because I'm coming over. I'm gonna go to that house and I'm gonna help you solve this issue." And it was not easy, but we went there and we figured it out. We moved it around, we kind of got rid of stuff, we got a dumpster for him. I got the damn thing done, is the moral story. And I know you guys have stories like that too, right? Thank you for the applause. It's not something I put on my resume, "Hey, helped a hoarder move his house for a loan," but it's something that we do for the dollar, right? Like how crazy is that we're gonna go through such amazing feats and like effort to go get some bucks. I'm sure you guys have stories. Come talk to me afterwards if you have something funny. I'd love to hear it. But then there's number 2. So now I'm working with Corey. Christine's over at corporate, and I'm at H&R Block now. And I get this manager from the same crazy manager, the 6'5" Pat, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna be leaving this company. I'm gonna be starting my own, and I want to bring you on as like a GM. I'm gonna bring you into another branch, and I wanna sponsor you to kind of like run that for me." I don't know, 3-4 years into the business, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm hungry. Let's go. Bring it on. Let's get it." Yeah, I think I was making like 6 figures at the time. Just broke into it, and so I say, "Yeah, let's do it." I drop it. I just flipped a 2-family house, so I had a little bit of money in the bank. I was feeling a little confident, and so I do it. I quit my job. I quit a 6-figure job. Go try to work for this guy for like a month, just to figure things out. And then I moved to Florida. I had this big, gigantic going away party. There's a whole story there. But I felt like I had to do this thing and that there was no turning back. It was literally do or die. So I did it. I jumped in, and there's a lot of risk and there's a lot of cool parts to that story where you could say, "Hey, I'm a go-getter. I did something. I took a chance." And I'm never saying don't do that. But I am saying that we do some wild things for the dollar. People will move across the state, they'll move out of the country, they'll do these things and upright some of the things that they have, that like pieces of themselves that they might leave behind. I left my family behind, I left a 6-figure career behind, just for the chance. And it just wants to exemplify the story of like us doing something for the dollar. And I go down there and it's a complete flop. The guy spent way more money opening his branch in Connecticut and didn't have enough for me. So I spent 3 months down there, give him a business plan, it's crickets. I'm like, man, I'm 24, I should have done some due diligence, shouldn't I have? I should have known that this guy either had the funds or I should have just done more. But it was a lesson learned and we move on. 3 year down there and I'm like, I had this giant going away party. I'm not going home. I'm not doing it. I'm gonna burn the bridges down here. So I become a Series 3 licensed commodities broker. I'm watching the guys on TV and I'm saying, I'm gonna do that. I'm down there for 9 months and I finally get the itch enough to say, I'm going to New York City and I'm gonna do that. So I leave Florida, get home, my parents don't even know I'm coming. I interview in the city and in 2 weeks I got a job as a clerk on the commodities floor of the exchange. The New York Mercantile Exchange is an open outcry trader and I won't get to that slide yet, but we'll get there. And my badge was meat, by the way. You'll see that in the next slide here. And, all right, we'll be here now. And I spent 2 years, busting my butt. I heard Les's story, which was, how cool is that guy? Amazing, right? Let's give that guy something. Man, I've been listening to him for years, so that was amazing to hear and be in the room with that guy. But I spent time just clerking and doing it all, working, round the clock, not really having a life, and just grinding for the chance and the opportunity to be a trader. I spent 2 years as a junior assistant clerk, and that means I was making 6 figures and I had to humble myself to go back down to the level of like the bottom floor, the guy getting the coffees, the guy getting the food. And so I get what he's saying, but there's a humbleness and a reality to going through this arc. But it just exemplifies the point is like, what are we willing to do to go after dollars? Like a lot. But the point is, do we ever look at ourselves? Do we ever look at the things that we're giving up? Do we ever look at the mental and emotional and social things that we're giving up in that process? Many of you guys are high performers right now. And I say you guys, I'm not putting a gender on it, just so you know I talk like that. Okay, just want to be clear. You're go-getters. You guys are the powerhouses. You guys have made something. You spent money to get here or somebody sponsored you to get here, but you guys are the it, right? Like you're the thing. In the office, you guys are the ones, okay? And that's powerful. That tells me a lot about who you are, but it also tells me about your sacrifice. It also tells me about the things that you've given up, the things that you've let go, the times that you missed away from your friends, your family, your kids possibly, and the many things that you had to give up to get here. And so what happens when you get it all? What happens when you get everything that you thought you wanted? What is the thing that you're gonna do next? The title here says, now what? I made it, okay? I happened to start, and this is just a crazy story compared to like the times right now, but I started trading. I made it through the 2 years. I excelled very fast. I actually was able to start trading within a year as like a junior underneath one of the guys. And so everything I did, I tried to do it at the highest level it could be done. And I started trading, but guess what? I watched the guys before me make millions of dollars, literally, like in the marketplace, just falling into it, like it was easy. So I thought it was bonanza when I was getting in. Let's go, come on. I'm in there, I'm a trader, my name's Meat, let's go, what's up? And guess what happened? What year did I start trading? 2008, September. What happened in 2008 in September? Lehman Brothers failed. So bonanza's over. Party music stops, weep. And I'm like, all right, we're gonna figure this thing out. We're gonna be in here, we're gonna go. And so that's what you guys gotta do. And so the mental and the emotional and the social aspect, I want you guys to consider if you're only chasing the dollars, it's a very empty road. And I'm gonna talk about in a minute, because you see all these fun things on the screen, right? Yeah, you see all that. You're gonna see that there's a lot of cool stuff that happened to me afterwards, and I got through it. You grind it out, you stick it out, you find what you do, you systemize your approaches, you find the things that are gonna work for you. Sets and reps, repeat. That's why fitness gives such great context to health and wellness in the space that you guys are in, because you guys got to systemize your approach. You got to get up and do the thing that you don't want to do every day, which is put in the work. You got to call the people. You got to relate it to, the work that you do when you're building a workout. I want to get stronger. I want to get leaner. I want to get thinner. Whatever that is, there's a system and a process that you need to go through to get there, right? And as originators or brokers or whatever side of the market you find yourself in, there's an approach that you need to take every single day to get to the end goal. And sometimes we've gotten lazy. Maybe we've got ourselves back and we said, okay, I didn't have to try so hard, but I promise you guys, it's time to turn it up. Take this as fire, go home with a plan, get some notes, take notes from me or whoever else that you get inspired by today, read it daily, go through it and make a plan, because if you don't have it, you're gonna be out. But let's just say I did that. Let's just say I knocked it out of the park, which I did. I crushed it. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm gonna show you in a minute that it didn't even matter because I was chasing the wrong thing. At the end of the day, you saw me help a hoarder, move to Florida, move back to New York City, because I was chasing dollars, and I was chasing the thing that I thought that I wanted the most, but I caught it, and I caught it big, okay? I was on the cover of magazines. I was in every health and fitness magazine for years. If I wasn't on the cover, I was in the magazine articles inside. I was a Bodybuilding.com sponsored athlete. I was a Cellucor sponsored athlete. I was a romance cover. You could get me on romance covers. Like I did a lot of cool stuff. Thank you. Thank you. I did a lot of cool stuff. And I got married. It's my wife over there. I was boxing for charity. I was hosting events. You see me look like the warrior right there. It was all fun and games at the time. And like at the same time, once I got up to the top, advance the slide, please. I felt empty. I felt like it was not anything. I had everything that I ever strived for. I literally was like, what the heck? I don't have anything. I felt like I was inside. I had my gut hurt at the top when I looked at it. I've been partying on the weekends. I've been just living without purpose. And I've been living a life that I was in the crusade to get paid. If you like that one, that's the one you should keep. Am I on the crusade to get paid, or is there something else going on? I was going after the wrong purpose in life, and I found out without some of the things that are gonna create happiness and joy inside you, you're really gonna be an empty person. And so I would say to you, figure out what that thing is today, because right now you need it more than anything. You're going into a season of rough, tough stuff. You're gonna have to do things that you don't want to do. You're gonna have to do things that are not comfortable for you. You're gonna have to talk to people when you're an introvert. You're gonna have to do a lot more than you've done. And it's gonna take you going outside the box, seeking mentorship, and we're gonna get into this whole thing in just a moment, but it's gonna take some different things. And if you're only looking at your bank reserves, or if you're only looking at the things that count from material gain, then you're really gonna be, just subject to just heartache, man. I don't know a better way to say it. You're just gonna find yourself empty at the top. Has anyone chased that thing and got it, and then felt like, oh, that's it? Anybody? Can I get a hands? High hands? Okay. Those could be relationships. Those could be encounters. Those could be a lot of things, guys. I mean, a lot of times you go after something in life and you're like, whoa, okay, that was it. All right. You know what I mean? But that's also when you put these big, elaborate attachments to these physical things that don't matter, because it matters up here a lot more. And so that's why it's such an important topic today to talk about the health, wellness space, because health and happiness matter too when you're chasing health. It's not just about your physical, and don't get me wrong, we're gonna get into the physical. I have some stories there. But that does matter. So next slide. So kind of the story and the arc here is that, look, I had it all. I had the things that I thought I was chasing, and at the top of the game, it just happened to be the wrong thing that served me. And we're gonna get into what did serve me and what I found at the top that did actually help me see myself in this thing. But what I wanna just say is, look, if you're chasing, and I think I've probably beaten this to a dead horse, but there's a gap. The more that you chase the money, the more that you're gonna grow in this place. When I said in the beginning, if you have health, you have wealth, but it's opposite. If you have wealth, you don't always necessarily have health, and you could have both. But I could promise you, if you make the trophy the thing that you're going after, you are gonna lose yourself in that process. And it's something I really want you guys to take it. At this point in time, I'm much more mature than I was before, and there's a level, and there's a gap in this room too, from age, from young people that are just crushing it and doing really, really well. But bonanza is not all the time, and that's not going to keep you happy forever. If you're by yourself, or if you don't have people to enjoy and share that with, if you're not mentoring or pushing into people, you are really going to be mistaken about what the joys of life really are. And I'm sure there's some older folks in this room that have lived a little bit of experience and can share that story with you. So go talk to people. Go get in the room with people, have these conversations, find a group in a circle. I know Christine said she had her group, the people that were, in that text group. You should have that stuff. You should have that next level of things. So I really just want to let you guys know that it's just not where the money's just not the only thing. And I know this is a great industry, and look, managers and owners of companies, I'm not trying to demotivate your employees. I'm just trying to say, health and wellness has a place in this ecosystem, and it definitely has a place to make them more productive, more energized, and more things, and we're gonna get into it right now. Next slide, please. So, what's the cost? What's the cost of all those things that you earned to right now? So, like, if I were to say simple, you know that their gap exists. Right now, if you looked at yourself in the mirror and you took a picture of who you are, what was the cost? What was the cost to your body? What was the cost up here? What's the cost to your mental, the scars and the trauma that you have that have taken on shape? What's the identity that you've given yourself now, that I'm only this one person and that I'm not this other thing? There's so many different things that you have to understand. As you push forth, you're taking from somewhere. And we're gonna talk about it, and we'll get into that in a second. We'll talk about the balls that are in the air and how to juggle those things and how to make those things fly. But you just have to understand that there's a cost to whatever you do. If you make a social media post and you share something that you shouldn't, there's a repercussion. And there's also a repercussion of closing those loans and not going to the gym and not doing this and not eating that food. So just understand that everything has an action and a reaction. Okay, next slide. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna give you 4 pillars of purpose that happened in my life, which I found. You saw me get married in that last picture, a couple before with my wife Wendy there, but I had a daughter. I serve now. I'm at the place where I pour into people. That's what I found for me. I believe in faith. I believe there's fitness. I believe there's fellowship, which includes your family and your friends and your social. And I also believe in finances. So I don't believe that you can have any 4 of those things alone, because with one fails, you're done. You're gonna find that the house of cards is very empty. But when you find, and I'm not pushing my pillars on you, I'm just pushing, these are my pillars, okay? Faith, fitness, fellowship, and finances. I found that these things fill my cup, and everything else alone, when I chased them individually, emptied it. And you wanna find the things that are gonna bring you up, lift you up, empower you, serve you, drive you, mentor you, make you happy, make you laugh, make you stronger, make you better, make you bulletproof, y'all. We have to think about our bodies and our minds as one cohesive unit, and that's what we need to do there. So you see I found faith, my fitness, that's our gym there, and then I'm serving people. These are the people that I help, because I help people body transform, but I also serve them on a call and talk about mindset and a lot of other things. So there's so much cool stuff that goes on, but if you're not in groups like this, or in communities, or in pods, or peoples, or group fitness gyms, you're missing out on help. Next slide, please. So, you want the truth, guys? I'm gonna go back to my cards here. I got some fun stuff for you. I thought the guy, I have in my notes it says hype guy. I thought I was gonna be introduced, yeah, give it to me. I gotta do it myself, and it's cool, no offense. But it ruins my story here. It's, when you show up, if you had a hype guy, if I was hyped up onto the stage, and it's all good, I'll tell my story. If you had a hype guy warm you up on stage, I'm making the correlation that that's your body. If I walked up here, empty, right? Dead, whatever. That's my energy. If I walked up here bubbly, if I walked up here fit and healthy, or if I overweight or whatever that is, that's your presentation to the world. That's your thing, that's your hype guy. So if the guy didn't hype me up, I was gonna say that's your body is to hype you up. That's your business card. So why don't you serve your business card? You guys wanna make more money? You wanna make more wealth? Serve it. Make it happen, make it work for you. It's one thing. If we know that the market's gonna go down, let your body work for you. Let your energy work for you. Let your inspiration, your energy, whatever it is that you can do to rig the game in your favor, put that in your life. Make it work for you guys. You guys have such an opportunity, but nobody wants to spend the little things on the things that matter the most, because we all agree that wealth is only one piece of the pie and it doesn't serve us in the end. It's only something for achievements or goals or all these things. But your health is something that's so important, but yet we won't spend the time. We have time for, no time for the gym, but you got time for Netflix. I want to tell you another secret. Want the truth? You never ate anything on accident. So when I hear people say, I try, make that truth. You never ate anything on accident. So how hard are you trying? Yeah, let's do that. Thank you. I wasn't sure if that was going to go over good or bad, but I appreciate the applause. Look, y'all, I want to challenge you today. How many times are you going to try on the same dress or clothing and be like, nah, it doesn't fit right? I got to get something else. It just doesn't fit. It doesn't complement my body. Huh? How many times are you going to look at yourself in the mirror and avoid eye contact and just be like, no, I'm not looking at that today. I'm not into you today. We're just going to avoid you because I'm just not feeling it. Guys, this is your body. This is you. This is your health. The avoidance is up here. Forget this for a minute. It's here. Think about the scars that you're etching into yourself right now when you're saying that. I got to get something else because it doesn't fit my body. You're speaking this into your mind over and over and over. If you want to avoid yourself, you're speaking that into your mind, and that's going to trickle into all the other areas of your life. So I'm asking you guys to get bulletproof. I'm asking you guys to get a battle plan. Can you go to the next slide? What I want to challenge with you guys is this. There's a running joke in this industry. I'm really out of time, shoot. I'm going to speed this up. I swear I didn't have 30 minutes.
You're good.
Okay, thank you. There's a running joke in this industry right now, and I saw it firsthand last night. I won't make you raise your hands, but your marketing images, they're out of date, okay? I talked to somebody and they said, those images could be like 10 years old because people are taking pictures of when they felt really confident about themselves. They felt like, that was a really good picture. I'm just going to keep it there. How many times have you upgraded your phone in the last 5 years? Probably 5 times. 4, 3, right? No longer 2 years, right? So we've upgraded our phones. How about your cars? Nobody's driving less than a 2015, I'm assuming, or something like that, right? But why are we still sitting with a profile picture that's 10 years old? That's the best of us a little while ago. I'm going to challenge you guys to take it upon yourselves to say, I'm going to update that photo every single year and be proud of that person that I am and proud of who I am, whether that's good or bad or indifferent. But I'm going to take ownership in me, because when I meet a client, that's me. I'm not the person I was 20 years ago. I'm smarter, I'm probably wealthier, I should be healthier, and we can grow in grace as we age, and we can have the opportunity to say, this is me now, love it or leave it, but this is me. Can we get that? Can we get that? Is anyone with me? Let's take ownership. I heard Les say, what did he say? He said, honor yourself. I love it. Honor yourself, y'all. Let's not live in the past, let's live in today, let's live in the present, and let's become something that we aren't right now, but we can move towards those. And that's why you need a battle plan. Because at the end of the day, if your health fails, it's checkmate and it's game over. So let's move that on. Let's go to the next. Let's turn this up to a small teaching experience. So it's time to audit. And I would say, I'm going to leave you with there's 4 things that I'm going to leave you with real quick, and I'll buzz through them because I know I'm running out of time. But if you take an audit of yourself, it's a better way to go about it. Sir. All right, he's not even paying attention. You. How are you? What's your name? Okay, nice to meet you. If you were to set a goal to lose, weight, let's just say, or to get rich. Let's go with that one. To get rich. It doesn't, okay. What do you got?
I'd like to lose 20 pounds.
20? Okay. So would that be the goal, or do you think you'd set some other goals in between?
Probably set some smaller goals.
Okay. But it'd be the first thing you'd tell me as a coach, right? You'd probably come up to me like, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds. Okay. I'm going to tell you where that fails, and thank you for that. Thank you for participating. It's such I work with a lot of clients, and I hear the goals. Man, I get messages all the time from people that tell me their stuff. And they're just going about it the way they think they should. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just what marketing does to us. It just tells us we got to say these things. But what if we took the pain that we're in right now, Christina, you want to lose that weight, and I'm not going to put you on the spot, but like, there's probably things that you're not loving about yourself right now that would make you even want that in the first place, right? And so whether that's just like, I'm just going to rip a couple different things. Go to the next slide. And I'm going to come back to DTI, because you saw DTI on the screen. That's debt to income ratio. You heard that. Let's look at the ailments that we have when we're auditing ourselves. Let's go to like swollen joints, obese, we're overweight, chest pain, bloat. Like there's so many different ailments that we could actually recognize on ourselves right now that we could be in pain with. So like if you had a list of ailments that you could feel physically, start checking the ones that you'd be like, yeah, I could move away from this. If you had other ones, go to the next slide. You have mental symptoms that we could talk about. What am I not feeling? I can't move away past this trauma. I got concentration issues. I'm disappointed in myself. Like there's a lot of things that we could look at that are so micro that will help us get there faster. Next slide. And social symptoms as well. Next slide. And social symptoms as well. So if you guys want to just take these snaps, and I'm sure, Christine, we can get these guys to you afterwards. Just understand this is a much better way of achieving an outcome that you want, is to look at what you don't have or want to move away from first. Because if you just say, I want to be rich, well, how? You don't even know what that means. You don't know what that feels like. You don't know what the complications of that are. You don't know if you have to do your taxes right. Like there's a slew of issues that happen when you're gapping your goals. But if you micro goal from what you could feel, touch, then you could be happy as you move away from them. And so you can actually be winning every day, because I think momentum is the most important thing that you need in a goal. And when you get it, because you got it, and I get it, and I'm getting it, and I'm climbing, you need that momentum to help carry you over the finish line. And so that's the thing that I would say is figure out the pain that you're in to move forward. Next slide. So now I ask you, now that we have momentum in our lives, and now that we're actually really close to the issue, that we're really what's going on to us, now we can ask those things is, what do I want? Why do I want this? Who do I want to become? How will it impact you? And what are you willing to do to get it? Those are the real questions at the end of the day, but I don't think you have enough information to ask those out the gate until you assess yourself. That's why you always start with an assessment, an audit. That's why an appraiser goes to a house to figure out what value is. What is your current state of value? I did debt to income before, and I know we're getting close. Debt to income was really like, take a look at all the expense that you put on, all those lists of physical, mental, and social. What are the expenses that I currently have in my body? And they add up on one side, and then what's the income? Is this worth it? Is the debt, is the expense, is the compounded interest, and is it worth it going forward? Is it worth me still doing the same things that I was doing yesterday and today to move forward? So think of it like that. Think of it just as in a balance sheet. If you aren't, ready to emotionally get into it, just think of the expenses and put it on a line and be like, damn, I have all these symptoms. Let me tackle one. Let me tackle the lowest one so I could just start winning. And that list goes from 20 to 5. And then you're there. And then you're like, damn, I lost 20 pounds. Bonanza, I got it, goal, right? So now that's another way to go physical. Next slide. Identity. There's a cool one I like to say with identity. Where is it? Let's see if here's a good one. A lot of people, I feel like they're on a dirt road to happiness and a highway to feeling like shit. Just to be honest with you. They put themselves in a place where they're just like beating themselves up left and right. How many people know that guy or that girl in the office that says, hey, I used to be this thing. I used to be this guy. When back in my day, I used to be this thing. Don't do that to yourself. Don't be that guy or girl, but don't do that to yourself, because all you're doing is letting yourself down about the cool person you used to be that you're not anymore. I used to be so fit and I'm not now. So now I'm just talking down to myself. Now I'm just saying, well, I'm just not good right now. So don't do that. The identity that you have in yourself has to be something that you feel and believe. And so like if you are in the weight loss journey, or if you are gonna be rich, or if you are gonna be this thing, you have to basically identify as that thing. So if I wanna be someone who's losing weight, then say, I'm gonna do what a person who loses weight would do. If I'm a person who quits smoking, then don't identify when someone asks you for a cigarette that I'm trying to quit. I don't smoke. Think of it like that. I don't smoke anymore. I don't do these things. Associate with what you want. Next slide. And seek guidance, mentorship, coaching. I'm gonna be one of the coaches actually on Vision for Your Success team. So Christine and I had talked. I should be on the website July 1st. So I will have an opportunity to talk with you. But if it's not me, somebody. Like I said, it has to be a buddy, a battle buddy, I like this call. My company's called Battle Plan, so you hear a lot of battle references. But that's what, you're going to war. You need somebody in the trenches with you because you're not strong enough by yourself. Next slide. And keep the score. A good way to go and get off track is by basically going on a journey, but you find yourself off the GPS. Keep the score, y'all. Find a way to write down the things in the beginning of the day. Les talked about writing down some goals, and then he said, like, look at them down the road. I'm sorry, that's too far. I mean, your goal should be basically like, I will accomplish what today, and then what took me from that. At the end of the day, you look at the beginning of the day, you look at the end of the day, and you find out what I didn't do, and what stopped me, and what will I do better tomorrow. Be small, y'all. Don't go far. You're gonna get yourself off track, and when you're off track, your journey's lost. Next slide. Now you got a choice. You could do what you did, which is where you are today, or if you were a goal setter, or you found yourself moving from this presentation saying, there are things that I'd like to accomplish or that I don't like about my current state, then I'm gonna move towards those goals. So you can go left and just stay where you are and be like, okay, I'm just chasing wealth on the cascade to get paid, or I can go right and find a way to get better myself. That's it, guys. Next slide. I'll be here in the back corner to take pictures if anyone wants to step out. Thank you for you guys' time.